Thank you so much. Now I give the floor to Ms. Patience Dickson from Advocacy for Women with Disabilities Initiative in Nigeria for up to 8 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Patience Ogolo-Dickson from Advocacy for Women with Disabilities in Nigeria. Today, I'll speak specifically about the importance of political participation of women and gender diverse people with disability, while outlining some of the barriers I and other women with disability around the world have observed towards their greater participation. I will then also share some examples from my context in Nigeria of how women with disability have participated in political life and conclude with some recommendations for the CRPD Committee to consider as it develops its general comment on Article 29. The participation of persons with disability in politics promotes a more inclusive and democratic society where everyone has a voice and the opportunity to contribute to the development and implementation of policies that affect their lives. It also helps in breaking down barriers and challenging stereotypes, leading to greater social acceptance and understanding of disability issues. Some of the barriers that women with disability face and other gender diverse persons with disability face multiple layers of marginalization, limiting their participation in political and decision-making process. The barriers they face to political participation are impacted by both their gender and disability and intersect in ways to make the issues unique from other women and other persons with disabilities. It is important to note that from the onset that there are preconditions to full and equal participation of political life for women, girls, and gender diverse people with disabilities, including education, healthcare, economic security, freedom from violence, legal capacity, and equality in family life. Their experiences are shaped by the intersection of ableism, sexism, racism, patriarchal norms, and other systems of oppression. These are also some of the issues that should be considered. My organization has documented several barriers to political participation as they have played out in Nigeria for women with disability. 1. Women in Nigeria are disproportionately underrepresented in the Nigeria Parliament. In the House of Senate, there are 4 women out of 109 members. And in the House of Representatives, we have 17 women out of 360 seats. However, there is no representation for persons with disability or for women with disability in the legislative arm. And these are hugely impacted decision-making relating to women with disability in Nigeria. Recently, in its general recommendation on equality in decision-making spaces, the CEDAW Committee called on all member states to ensure 50% representation of women in political office. It is very different from what we have presently. Furthermore, a woman with disability shared her story around discrimination that she experienced during the 2-time attempt in contesting for parliamentary seats as follows. Access issues, including physical barriers to accessing political meetings and political campaign sites, which may be in a very remote areas and villages. She also talked about attitudinal barriers and discrimination she faced at the intersection of gender and discrimination, saying that people do not believe that women with disability can hold political position or become leaders. She went ahead to say that political meetings are usually held at odd hours, like night times, and many women with disability may not be able to attend due to concerns about their security. Also, financial barriers, including lack of adequate funding for political campaigns. Women with disability do not have the capacity to fund campaign activities like their male counterparts, as they have limited financial means due to barriers to education and employment. There is also issue around high cost of nomination forms in some political parties, which is out of reach of women with disabilities. Although she did not get enough votes to be elected to that position, she has continued to advocate to promote the inclusion of persons with disability in governance. There is also the issue of gender-based violence and sexual harassment in political spaces, which have a huge impact on the political participation of women, highlighting gender disparities that continue to exist in political office. And this may deter other women, including women with disability, from seeking such office in the future. Although we have a framework on access and participation of persons with disability in the electoral process and the Electoral Act of 2022 as amended, implementation is still a huge problem. We have some recommendations. We hope that the CRPD Committee will pay particular attention to this issue facing women and gender diverse people with disability in its general comments on participation in political life. Some of our recommendations include: there should be a quota system that allows for women with disability to get political position and make permanent seats available for women with disability in the legislature. Political spaces, voting centers, and campaign platforms should be accessible to persons with disability for them to enable their full participation. There should be training programs to empower women with disability with leadership and political skills, and increase awareness on the rights of women with disability in politics for political actors. There should be technical and financial support for women and gender diverse people with disability around mobilization of resources to enable and encourage them to run for political offices. This could include mobilizing resources through political events, support from political parties, and building trust fund for women with disability aspirants. There should be public awareness campaign to sensitize the community about the rights of women with disability in politics, promoting inclusive governance. Lastly, there should be robust and enforced laws and policies prohibiting gender-based violence and harassment in political space. I will conclude by saying that women and gender diverse people with disability in decision-making is not just a matter of representation, but a fundamental step towards equitable and inclusive governance. More efforts are needed to break down barriers and create opportunities for women with disabilities to actively participate in politics. By supporting and empowering women with disabilities, societies can build a just and inclusive future for all. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Now I give the floor